What's going on, guys? How's everything going?
Good morning. How you doing?
Not so bad. If everyone could
No.
retweet their.
Good morning. It's morning here anyway.
Was there a reverb when I
Yeah,
talked?
the busy. No, you sound fine, man.
Okay.
Yeah, you sound great to me. Do I sound all right?
Yeah.
Alrighty. So we'll just wait for the room to fill up a bit more. If all listeners could retweet the space, try and get some more ears in here, and we'll get going. So we'll start with Rubik. If you want to give yourself a little introduction, go ahead, man.
Everyone here knows me, I'd say. So yeah, I'm just a dude likes gaming and believe in Immutable's future. That's me.
Yeah, I suppose everybody sort of knows us. That's here anyway, but yeah, go ahead, Jesus. You can give yourself a little introduction as well.
Yo, what's up? D'Souza, just here to talk about Immutable. I like Immutable's stuff and their games and NFTs, so let's do this.
And WT.
Yeah, how you doing? My name's WT. I'm from the planet Jupiter. I'm here to record all the interactions going on around blockchain and Web3 gaming, as we don't have that on my planet yet, and that's why I'm here. Thank you.
Sounds great, man. Hope the weather's good up there in Jupiter. But anyway, we'll get going here. So Immutable has launched their Immutable ZKEVM. And what's that mean? It's a game-changing platform specialized for game developers, combining technology with Ethereum compatibility for secure, scalable, and cost-effective game development. It's gas-free gaming, so that's great for gamers. It has an expansive network with its collaboration with Immutable, Polygon, and provides access to a vast gaming community and resources, facilitating growth and networking opportunities. It has cost-effective solutions. Developers save time and money by effortlessly migrating existing game elements or using pre-built templates for rapid development. Advanced features. Games on this platform offer cutting-edge mechanics like staking, crafting, NFT integration, enhancing gameplay depth and engagement. It has interoperability, it has security measures set in place, and it has quick, effective deployment. So I just wanted to give a quick rundown of what it was, and then I was going to pass it off to Rubik and Desus, and they can expand on it from that. So let's get into it. What do you guys think?
You go, D'Souza.
Well, I mean, it's huge for the ecosystem, right? They've been developing this ZKEVM for quite a long time using Polygon CDK. It allows for them to roll out full Ethereum grade smart contracts on the network. So previously, it wasn't compatible to do so using the StarkX implementation. So this is really big for the ecosystem for sure, allowing games to fully be interoperable between Ethereum Layer 1 and Immutable X. So any D app that's deployed on Ethereum can effectively be deployed here on Immutable ZKEVM.
Definitely. So what do you think? What's your thoughts on it, WT?
Well, I'm not as tech savvy as D'Souza and Rubik. I'm just kind of bringing it in as it's giving the games more options to do what they need to do, for their gaming NFTs, some access to interoperability with liquidity was a big one that I seen, and go gas free for the customer base, where the game devs or the gaming companies will be paying the gas. It won't be a whole lot, but it'll make it to where the customers, gamers, whatever you want to call them, won't have to pay any gas, which would decrease that friction that chases them away. So they're basically making a much more friendly environment for the gaming devs and the gamers.
Yeah, definitely. It's like creates that seamless transaction, you know. But what I see that they launched the toolkit as well today. Along with it, is I seen Deuceus posted up in the nest there. If anyone wants to take a look, I think they just announced it.
Yeah, so they released like a full-on toolkit that allows you to bridge your tokens from Ethereum onto the ZKEVM. It allows you to purchase tokens as well directly to the ZKEVM, and kind of manage your funds and stuff between wallets and things like that. So it's pretty nice. And you're able to swap as well as long as you're not a US resident.
Or a VPN user, because it's not Australian either. But as soon as I pushed VPN into Philippines, you beauty.
Yeah, so yeah,
Good old,
if you use a
good
VPN,
old.
you'll be fine. So, you know, and one of the things that makes this a lot better too is games previously on the StarkX implementation. So, like, for instance, Gods Unchained. If you are going to craft um, a better quality token, or not token, better quality card in Gods Unchained, they have a fully customized solution under the hood to be able to do that. And basically every game would have had to implement their own custom solution to be able to do things just like that. Whereas with ZKEVM, there's a easy template that you can implement that allows you to do the same type of mechanics that will effectively, say, take 5 cards of one quality to make one card of the next grade quality, right? So if you're doing that type of upgrade mechanic in your game, you don't have to have a fully customized solution to do so. You can just implement the smart contract, which will go ahead and burn the 5 lower grade quality cards or items, and then mint the higher quality item for you, right? So that's what we're talking about in making it easier and more streamlined, um, in the whole mechanics and everything, right? So a lot of games already do that type of stuff on layer one, and those contracts have been around for a while, and that type of mechanism has been around for a while. So being able to take that mechanism that has been utilized or implemented, and just kind of copy and paste it into the ZK EVM environment makes it that much easier for games to do things of this nature, right? So, for instance, you know, like say you have, say you have a pickaxe in your game or something, right? And you want to get a higher quality pickaxe, right? You could take 5 of these normal quality ones and effectively um, burn those or craft them into a better quality item that then goes ahead and burns those items and then mints the new item that's the higher quality. And that whole mechanism is effectively just a smart contract, right? Being able to do that on this new EVM is a lot easier. And with the passport, games can implement the passport with easy social login and ease of use. And with that, they have the option to go ahead and cover the gas fees that it would cost to do a transaction like that. So in the end, the gamer who's just wanting to upgrade their in-game items doesn't have to worry about paying the fees incorporated with doing that whole process.
Nice, very nice. I got a question. So, from the way I read this, if it's an Ethereum-based ecosystem, so I'm just going to pick this out of the top of my head. It doesn't mean they're coming, but let's say CryptoPunks wanted to come and put their NFT collection into ZKEVM. Since they're on the Ethereum ecosystem, isn't it a lot more seamless with the tools in place to do that now? It's a lot easier than it used to be with having ZKEVM now.
Yeah, that's what Suze was touching on. With what the biggest difference is I did an article on it last night. The StarkX implementation was cookie cutter, meaning that there was very limited flexibility about what you could do with the contracts. You couldn't customize the contract to do whatever suited your game. You had to meet the mold of what was available, and that was very limited. And Immutable lost a few games that wanted to build on a gas-free network, but just needed a more flexibility and went somewhere else because the StarkX implementation didn't serve that need. With this new chain, it's Ethereum equivalent, not just compatible. Might not be equivalent right now, but it's in the middle of upgrading to Type 2, and Type 1 is the fully equivalent thing, and they're not far off that. So that will just mean that you can, anyone that's the developers have learned, majority of developers in Web3 have learned Solidity. Think of something like 95% of all Web3 developers. So Immutable ZKEVM, all those developers will know how to build on it straight away on ZKEVM because it's exactly the same, pretty much, with a few little things you need to learn here and there as mainnet.
Right, because like with StarkX implementation, you had API calls, right? So it's basically saying, hey, query this item and tell me where it is and what it's doing and what all it entails there, right? There wasn't an actual smart contract underneath there that was doing all of the mechanics, right? So if you're telling it to, hey, go burn this item to create, or these items to create this item, it wasn't that simple, whereas now it really is. Saying, hey, these are the 5 items within this collection. They exist, and here's the IDs, and then we're going to go ahead and get rid of these items, and then we're going to go ahead and mint one of this item that's also in that collection, right? So that whole Solidity portion, like Rubik was just saying, 95% of the developers out there are already using that type of mechanic. They already know that mechanic. So when you use the example of, say, CryptoPunks or something like that, yeah, they could easily transition. All they would have to do is bridge their assets over to the EVM chain.
I think one of the things I'm most excited about is I don't know how it's going to all tie into place, but they were talking about between games, they're going to all have cross interoperability of liquidity. And for me as a gamer, when I'm playing, I hope that turns into I can trade whatever token I want for whatever token someone else is selling an asset for via the order book, and it just makes it to where it just happens. Because I know right now, currently as is, I'm limited with what funds I have on the platform, and if I see something that's on sale and I don't have that token, I'm pretty much, I got to go through the whole process of getting it over there to hurry up and try and buy it, versus if I could just move the liquidity around easily. And that's one of the things that I'm really looking forward to this whole new transition of ZKEVM.
Yeah, that's it. Sorry, go ahead, Rubik. Go ahead.
I was going to say that's checkout, as well as the new third party dexes that are being built for it. We'll be able to, hopefully, users will be able to create their own liquidity pools for that kind of thing. But already, the toolkit that was just announced this morning. You can go on there and swap between layer 1, layer 2, between wallets, swap tokens for different token types. I'm not sure if that's fully like every single token that's on ZKEVM chain right now that you can do that for. But it looks like it's under the hood by QuickSwap, which is one of the biggest, dexes out there, and it's big on Polygon. It's the biggest on Polygon. So yeah, what
Okay.
I said it is.
I might be a little confused then, because I've read and they've talked about in some of the videos that they put out that the games are going to have access to liquidity pools through multiple games. Do you know what they're talking about when that's coming up? Because maybe I'm confusing the two.
I think that just has to do with the staking aspect of it, right? So liquidity pools are available on stake through staking mechanisms or functions. So it doesn't matter what game the player is actually playing. The liquidity pool is there. Also, when they're playing, say they're playing a game and it requires them to do something. IMX is the gas token, right? Say you don't have IMX in your account, what it'll do is when you're going to do the checkout, like Rubik was saying, there's something built into the entire passport functionality called checkout, which allows it to actually do a live swap of tokens you do have for you to be able to pay the gas if it's not already being sponsored by the game.
There's also you might be referring to two other things. So Axelar Net that they've just announced less than a week ago is like it's like a layer 0. And the way they described it is that Passport's going to work with it, and that you can onboard users from 56 other chains into Immutable Passport. And I assume that would be meaning bring tokens over to Passport and then be able to swap them for liquidity for the token you want or need as well. But also it could mean that, like, for example, I'm playing Gods Unchained now, and I've got, I think, like a couple of hundred tokens there stored up that I've, over time. And I could swap quite easily that for a GOG token if I wanted to buy something in the GOG game. So it's the ability to have liquidity from one game and buy things in another game without actually ever touching fiat or even have to go buy Ethereum or swap into Ethereum. You can use the token from any game at all that's on ZKEVM, or even StarkX, because it's going to be. I just got an answer today from one of the Immutable employees that you'll be able to switch between the two as well. So, yeah.
Very cool. With you guys are two developers. I'm sure this probably makes your guys' life just so much easier. I'm just reading it and going from a caveman aspect. It says here, with Immutable ZKEVM, developers are going to have access to a library of turnkey smart contract templates. So that tells me if you need something and it's in the Immutable library, you can go and just quick plug it and it'll just work, and it'll save you tons of time, right?
Yeah, I think like 90 seconds, it says here. With just a few keystrokes and clicks, we'll be up and going in 90 seconds. You can deploy that contract.
How big is that for developers, Desus or Rubik, whoever wants to take it?
That what you're talking to may mean that as well, but it also, the ZKEVM is also going to have APIs like StarkX, so that the users that don't want to, but it's not going to be limited like StarkX because it's an Ethereum equivalent. So they're going to create cookie cutter API calls on the ZKEVM, so you can call a smart contract that you want to use and not have to rebuild it yourself. And therefore it's already tested for security. You don't have to do security audits, so the cost is going to come down. So they're still building the API calls, but they'll have way more flexibility. However, with ZKEVM, the developers will be able to write their own contracts if they need to go outside of what the cookie cutter availability is.
Okay. But that's enabled because but that's enabled because of the ZKEVM though, right?
Yeah, because it's a ZK. The thing is, the DYDX, sorry, not DYDX, that's the DEX on StarkX's implementation. That was the limitation. there were certain limitations by that chain that it was deliberately built to be very constrained, and so Immutable could create more flexibility. They probably could have done a little bit more what they did, but they were building Starknet, which is their more flexible chain. And Starkware's Starkware's doing the same thing. They've got StarkX and Starknet, and Starknet is their more advanced chain. StarkX was their initial one, very very limited. ZKEVM is like Starknet, but on equivalency. You'd have to learn Starknet is you need to learn all new language to write contract. I think it's called, what's it called? I don't know, Core or something. I don't know.
Cairo.
And Rust. It's a Rust-based language, but ultimately the point is that ZKVM's going to allow more flexibility. It's Ethereum equivalent, which means it's whatever you've learned to build on Ethereum, you can build. If it's already built, you can copy and paste it, and it works. But the thing around contracts or around development, there's always tooling that you build. You always build things that help you do things quicker. So when you do repetitive tasks, you don't have to do it multiple times. You just build a tool that does that for you. Now, no other chain in the world does this other than Polygon, ZKEVM, and there's 3 other chains trying to do it: Scroll, Tyco, and Linear. So there's only 4 chains going for this equivalency where the tools that you've built for Ethereum that speed development up, that are already built, they cannot be used anywhere else other than those 4 chains. And none of them can do it yet, other than Polygon, in about a week's time. So it's just flexibility. It's not from a consumer. Us consumers don't care, too much. But the actual developers, why Immutable's won 260 games, and they haven't even got the chain out yet, is because of this super advanced chain it is compared to anything else out there. Like, all the consumers, all the LARPers on Twitter that think they know everything about everything, they don't understand. Like, they're definitely not technical people, because you see the comments and they don't get why Immutable's winning 260 games and the chain's not even out yet. It's just because it's so far advanced now. It is. StarkX was when it came out 5 years ago, was far advanced above anything else, and it's still a really good chain, and people are still using it and signing up to use it because it's still good. But this one is like head and shoulders above anything else out there, other than those 3 other chains I told you: Linear, Scroll, and Tyco. There you go. That's it. My board to tears with the technicals.
Yeah, I don't have a developer brain on me at all, but I can even see the how valuable this Immutable ZKEVM can be. So I don't understand how other people can't see that either, But yeah, I hear what you're saying, Rubik. So I have a quick question. So we're in phase 1, early access. How long do you think would you guys speculate that phase will we move on to phase 2?
I mean, I feel like it's going to be by Q2. We'll have like the full on launch of everything. With Guild of Guardians, they are launching on ZKEVM when they launch the full game. So with Guild of Guardians having their expected launch by March of, which is Q2, I'm expecting, Immutable to be fully launched by then as well. I mean, they could just be doing some last iron out type stuff, and it could be launched within the next, within this week even. There might have been a few hiccups that they had that they just wanted to make sure they ironed out before doing the full launch. I fully expected it to be launched by by the end of this month. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they're pretty close to being able to do that, and I think they wanted to make sure that everyone kind of knew that the stuff was in place, and did a kind of a soft launch, if you will, like they did now.
So I've got a little bit more information. It's pretty close to what Sue said. they had always planned to do this early access with just their Immutable's not just like a game developer themselves. They're a publisher. They've got 5 games they're publishing, and they've got 3 other games that they're invested in as partners. So though there's 8 games that have access to the ZKEVM, they're going to do the trial runs. They're going to make sure that none of these third-party customers get exploited or have any problems with anything. They're going to take that risk on themselves first. In the documentation, they said that that's expected to be opened up to everyone in March if everything goes well. So we're February now, we're first in a day's time in Australia, and so we're probably 6 weeks. And usually Immutable does things at the end of months. So probably the 31st of March, I'd expect it to be launched globally, but it could be April as well. Yeah, so it's a pretty smart way of doing it. Like if you're gonna, what would be better? I think it's the mature way, it's the responsible way, it's the taking responsibility. We will, if anything goes wrong, it's going to be on our backs, not on our partners' backs. So I don't know if people agree with that or not.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I don't see them rushing this. I see them take them, kind of cautious steps to make sure it looks legit before they open up the floodgates, just so they don't get egg on their face, because they know how many detractors they have out there, and they want to put on a good first step before they open those floodgates.
So those games are that's Guild of Guardians, Metalcore, Shardbound, Meta Toy City, and Space Nation, and then there's the ecosystem partners like Merit Circle, Token Trove, and Exceller. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about games, and so the
Okay.
five published games are their 2 games, GOG and Gods Unchained. There's Shardbound, Metalcore, and Infinite Victory. And there is Eyeball Games is they invested in, and there's I don't know the other 2, but I do know from the grapevine that there are 8 games that have access to ZKEVM at the moment.
I thought WAGMI was too, weren't they? Or did I hear that
Yeah,
wrong?
they're startups. So is Gods Unchained is as well. So they're not Gods Unchained wouldn't be included in that 8 because they're staying on StarkX. So there's 8 games that have access to the ZKEVM right now. I couldn't tell you which ones they are.
Right.
Hold on, I think they tweeted it. Let me go look. But anyway, did you any of you guys get a chance to use the toolkit, or have you found out? Have you any thoughts on it, or?
Yeah, I mean, I was playing around with it a little bit, and it looks like they already, implemented their partnership with Transact, which when you go to purchase tokens, it's through Transact. Looks like it's pretty seamless and everything like that. Pretty straightforward. It explains to you how much you're going to be getting, what you're going to be getting, and whatever the fees are and stuff like that. You can use your credit card or debit card or whatever, and pretty seamless. So it's nice.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good one for people that are not interested in crypto at all. And
Hey, not to get too far off of it, did you see 9 hours ago Transact joined Visa Direct by chance?
Did not.
no,
Tell us about it.
Yeah, Paul Barron was talking about it too. They joined up with Visa, so that was some pretty big news today with Transact. So yeah, more pure announcements coming out of the Immutable ecosystem.
Pure announcement of ZKEVM. It's never going to come. So the toolkit. Let's talk about the toolkit because it's the thing that's been the biggest lacking of Immutable is the Stark. There was a influencer on Immutable Hero channel that had a really bad experience with removing funds back to layer 1. I believe with this checkout, it's instantaneous back to day one. I don't know if you correct me if I'm wrong, and it's because of the ZKEVM equivalence that you can do that. Right before you couldn't. But yeah, you can check balances. You can swap between wallets. You can so there's there's widgets. There's balances, swap coins, move coins, and buy coins. So you can load up your passport with login without actually using you don't have to create a wallet, at all. You just log in with Google, and you can actually be a DGen without a wallet. You got a wallet, but it's fully your own custody. So you own custody. No, the Immutable can't touch your coins. It's been designed in a way that they cannot access and transact on your contracts. It's done through a security system in AWS. So you have full control of your coins, even though you're not logging in with an actual MetaMask, you're not using a seed phrase, and then you can just. So it's like that. It still needs a bit of work. It needs some docs, and it needs a little bit of work to fully understand things like what your wallet is right now. What it's very hard to see that. There's no button to see what wallet you're logged in as. So that will obviously need to come. But yeah, it's the game changer for me. Like, it's one of the biggest game changers. This way better experience, and we won't get the influencers so upset about taking 24 hours to get your tokens back to layer one.
Oh, jeez. Good stuff. Good stuff.
I think I know who you're talking about. I'm not sure.
Don't say it, please.
Yeah.
I'm not saying nothing. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's good stuff, Rubik. I think you and I had a chat on the podcast about stuff going on under the hood where it's going to take your best option available for fees. And I don't know how all that stuff works, but apparently Apple's been doing it for a long time, and they're following the same system of protocols to make that happen. So I have a feeling it might be a little clunky at first, but that's what they're heading towards, which is good, a good strategy. And once that gets all implemented, people aren't even going to know it's going to happen, that it's happening, and it's just another step in the process.
One step closer to mass adoption in my eyes. Like, what is that? I don't think there's any other chains that are remotely close to what Immutable is doing, or am I completely wrong in saying that? Rubik?
I think there's other chains that have a chance for sure. Like, where I'm a pretty big believer that Immutable's got a big chance of being the number one chain, but it's not guaranteed yet. Although I was watching Whale D Shark stream GOG last night. My God, he's a good. I don't know if he's just a good streamer or the game was. I think he's a good streamer, but
Yeah,
he had
good.
200.
He's good.
He had 250 people in there watching him play GOG, mate, in early access, and just like, and it was just so entertaining. It was 3:00 in the morning, and I ended up watching him to 4:30, and now I'm exhausted. So it's like, that game.
Yeah, I saw you chatting with him. Rubik, and I was like, okay, he was okay. He's pretty good, but he's pretty annoying though. He repeats himself over and over again, and I think that's one of the things that streamers do these days. Because like I watch my kids watch these streamers as well, and it seems like they're saying the same thing over and over again. It also seems like he is a gamer, but then there's like a real seedy degen nature to him as well. He knew a lot of the games, but he didn't necessarily know a lot about them. Like he was saying that the graphics in Illuvium were bad, and I was like, of any of the games out there right now, Illuvium has like the best graphics of any of them.
I was weirded out by that comment. I'm like, are you serious? I started arguing. That's when I started arguing with him. Look, mate, like, we're all different. We all piss people off with things, and he's not going to rub everyone the right way. I really enjoyed his stream, but it's also GOG is so watchable. Like it's that game that you can play and stream where you don't have to focus on the stream so much. It's the conversation, but it's got stuff happening all the time in the background that you just want to see what's going on. Like, it's just so I could see GOG get. Your predictions are in trouble, boys. That's all I'm going to say. Big, big trouble.
I forget what my predictions are, dude.
Well, I said 2 million or something like that, and or something, or 2.5 million was it, players, and I think God could do that easy. It's and everyone was coming into the chat going, "This game looks
That was
good. This game looks good. This game looks good." So
yeah. That was one of the things that I definitely noticed when he mentioned go over to Illuvium and see how many people are watching. And I did. I looked over and there were 24 people watching 12 different streams or something. That's two per stream. And then there were 260 people in watching Guild of Guardians, right? And that shows you like people want to see that, they want to be able to experience that, and that was just him, right? They were just watching him and his seedy Canadian accent, and that's crazy.
but going back to the question, like we all know that AVAX has some really great games building on it. They just signed another really good game the other day. I saw, they've got momentum, and I believe that they'll be. I've said it before that it's going to be like normal. Gaming on blockchain will be chosen by one of five game for chains, maybe six in the long run. 10 to 15 in the next 2 years will consolidate down to 10 to 15, where everyone builds on when all the VC money runs out and they can't pay you $10 million to make you come to their chain. And, they know it's a deaf signing. You get your 10 million, but your game's dead because no one wants to build that wallet. And it's just so hard to build on. But Immutable's developer experience is going to be the number one, and why I believe they'll win.
Yeah, and to be clear, I don't ever expect there just to be one gaming chain out there. I mean, look at the traditional financial payment systems. How many different payment forms are there out there now? And when it first started, it was just like your bank and PayPal, and that was it. And now we've got like I hear about a new one all the time that you can get on your phone and do payments to people. So I always think there will be multiple game platforms out there. There's going to be, the one that everyone sort of gravitates to, but there'll be other ones that can be out there as well. And yeah, with the ZKEVM and the dev tools, I think is what's going to separate Immutable apart from everybody, and the technology. And there'll be a close second, or who knows? Maybe someone will come out with something a little bit better, but for now, it doesn't look like that.
Yeah, I agree. Dude, I'm more about the games. I think the chain's great and all, but at the end of the day, it's all about the game, the product. So if it's a good game, I don't care what chain it's on. I'm going to try and play it. Do you know what I mean? That's the way I look at things. So, but like I think that's the way most gamers would look at things as well. Instead of what the way people are now, there's like these maxis to each chain. Like, who cares? It's about the game at the end of the day. If it's a good game, players will go there. But I believe most of the good games will be with Immutable because of their of the tools they have in place. But WT, I seen you're going to speak there, so
Yeah,
go
I
on
had
ahead,
a
man.
question for the panel here. I'm a little confused. Is it because of the ZK EVM technology that they're able to have enforceable royalties, or did they have that before? That was something I wanted to ask earlier.
They had that before. It's built in. So even in StarkX implementation, they had enforceable royalties as well.
Was it
There's
customizable though?
there's something new though in ZKEVM. It's built into the contract. You have to enforce in your contract a white list for sales. Immutable won't let you deploy your contract to them unless you have that. I've been looking at the docs. Actually, I'm starting to look to build something myself, and that's the first thing I noticed. It was in the docs that if you have to. Before you could have just moved the NFT off the chain and it'd work. Now the contract actually has a whitelist for what marketplaces you can use, and it has to be the Immutable whitelist.
Is that for security? Probably. You think?
And that's the enforced royalties.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Duh.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah, it's literally been designed. Robbie's talked about it before. That it's in its ZKEVM specific tech. That you can, like, the marketplace is API driven. It's different to all other chains where the marketplace is you put your contract with OpenSea, you send your NFT there for sale. You're giving them custody of your NFT to sell for you. In Immutable's marketplaces, that doesn't happen. You always maintain custody of your NFT, but it's an API driven marketplace, which means that when you list it, it's listed with Immutable, and then it goes into the global order book that's saying that this NFT is for sale. And then any marketplace in the world can then list that NFT on their marketplace. It will automatically do it, obviously. That if they're serving that collection, that NFT will be for sale automatically on all marketplaces simultaneously, which no other chain does that. No one. So that's one of the liquidity things as well. Like it's a massive, like you could be in WAGMI, and if they install an in-game marketplace and you list your NFT in the marketplace, you don't even know that you're going to that there are other, like you're a Web2 player, you come play WAGMI, you sign in with Passport, you win this NFT, you work out you can sell it in the in-game marketplace, you hit sell, someone on Token Trove goes and buys it. Like that's how it can work. Like that's no other chain does that. Where you list your NFT, it's the only place it's listed for sale, and that fragments liquidity. And that's when Robbie's always talking about marketplace liquidity. It's not fragmented. It's merged as one global liquidity pro, and it's a massive advantage. People don't understand that yet as well. Another reason why we support ZKEVM, Immutable.
Exactly. So like like Rubik was saying, if a player is able to list in game in their marketplace or whatever, I could go over to Token Trove, I can go to Rarible, I could go to any of these, I could even go to Immutable's marketplace. It'll be listed there because at all times those marketplaces are scraping for those newly created APIs for those listings and saying, hey, okay, we have this collection on our marketplace. This is a new sale item, and goes ahead and lists it, right? So it doesn't matter where it's being listed, or what currency it's being listed in, right? So it's always available across all of them.
Awesome. This is not ZKEVM related, but man, I think it's a great question. So I'm going to ask it. I don't know if you guys seen OpenSea is apparently up for sale. My first thoughts was, I wonder if Immutable's going to try and make a bid. I don't even know if they have enough money to pull that off. But then I thought, well, do they really need to because of the order book system? Do you think that would be even necessary with the order books? They already have that covered because of that, maybe?
I don't know. I don't really know if it's necessary. I think, in the industry, a name goes pretty far, right? I think the only reason that it would be interesting is because I guess everyone knows OpenSea, but I don't see it as anything necessary for Immutable to go after. I think that the fact that now whether or not OpenSea starts to support immutable items through starting to support ZKEVM, like their specific ZKEVM, that would be interesting. But I don't see any need for Immutable to go after, an acquisition or anything like that at this time. If anything, it's more on the onus is more on OpenSea to open themselves up to actually support any immutable items and stuff like that, because currently they're not, but so many other marketplaces are, right? So for instance, like Rarible, they have full integration with Immutable and everything. They have for a long time. I really don't see a need for Immutable to do anything like that, specifically because, I mean, all the cards are kind of in their favor right now, and to kind of go out there and put something like that large, I think, on the books as a purchase or something, I don't think it's really necessary. Now, if they want to partner and try to help OpenSea out to where they don't have to be purchased, then that's another story, right? But
Right.
I'm open for I'm open for that. I'm open for collaboration in a sense to where OpenSea gets their wits about them, actually commits to having enforceable royalties and saying we're going to stick with that. Um, you know, then I think there's a possibility of a collaboration. But until they reverse suit on enforceable royalties, I don't see any way that OpenSea and Immutable partner currently.
Great answer, man. Great answer.
Sorry, just getting Rubik back in. You guys are gonna have to hold down the fort for a couple of minutes. My dog's going crazy outside, so I'll be back in 2 minutes.
We'll ask you who let the dogs out when you get back.
No problem, man.
All right, welcome back, Rubik. We missed you very much. DeSuze gave a really good breakdown to my question, and I like where he was going too. He kind of read my mind about what maybe they collab with them, which would be kind of right up what IMX does or Immutable does.
You talking about OpenSea?
Yeah, I just
Bill?
kind of placed the hypothetical question, and he answered it.
All good. I don't need to hear it. It's ultimately ZKEVM. Let's go back to ZKEVM. Like at the moment, it feels like it's a bit more developer focused. What the information that's come out. Even the 1.5 minute little skit they put out with it was very developer focused. I think we're going to start. We'll have to wait a couple of days to see. Maybe in a couple of weeks to see the first game release. What game that will be, I have no idea. I think Metalcore is almost ready. We might be seeing Metalcore come live pretty soon, and Eyeball Games potentially as well. So yeah, but yeah, it's a bit. I've asked some questions in the Heroes chat to say when is the consumer-facing content coming to help us learn how to use the product better, and the answer was we're focusing on the developer side of things first, and the consumer stuff is coming.
Awesome, very awesome. I can't wait to see it. It's a great last 24 hours here with the announcements, and I think people are expecting it all to launch at once, but it's going to take a little time still, so we got to be a little bit patient for it to kind of roll out and pick up some steam. And it's going to be interesting to see, 12 months from now, how many games are using it and how well is it working. And we do believe it's going to set Immutable apart from the rest of the pack, and I can't wait to see what the sentiment is like and what the markets are like because of it, and the games, and of course the games.
Hey Rubik, do you know is staking going to stay on StarkX or is it going to move over to ZK?
Pretty certain it's going to move over to ZK. I haven't heard that yet confirmed, so don't confirm it. But there's like the IMX Next, the tweet about 2 weeks ago. That's going to 100% be whatever that is going to be. Obviously, it's waiting for ZKEVM to release to let us know what that is, and that's clearly it means it's going to be migrating your tokens to ZKEVM and staking there. And there's going to be an additional, like, you remember the 4 boxes that they had, and then they end up saying they released, the GDC, they announced Polygon and opened up that box and showed it was DEX's fees. Gas fees going towards the stakers. And there's 2 more that they stopped. Though they are going to be announced very shortly, and apparently it's big. It's bigger than DEX fees, whatever it is. So, I guess. So is it DEX fees, like actual, not just gas fees, but DEX percentage, like, and it's bigger than that apparently.
Yeah, because I was I was expecting it to kind of come out now, so I unstaked for this cycle, and I was like, shit, now I don't know. So one thing also I was wondering, I noticed they don't currently have a bridge from StarkX to ZKEVM. So that means that you have to withdraw your funds if you want to move them over, right? So there's no direct transfer from StarkX to ZK.
Yeah, I don't think so as well. I actually don't think they've implemented the current bridge is ZK bridge. I think they're still on a proof of stake model, and phase two is implementing the prover. So it's kind of like really early days in the actual tech. And yeah, I actually spoke to Aaron Bierschmidt, whatever, Smitty, Doug Smitty from Crypto Unicorns, and he was looking at Immutable for migrating to Immutable when he chose Zai, and he said that he notified me of that. And yeah, so I've been doing a little bit of digging, and it looks like it might be true, but not the end game. Obviously, it's just get something up and running now, and then work on the biggest issue with the prover is they want to have more than one prover, and that's a real big problem to solve. So they've got to design the prover perfectly so they can expand to that multiple prover, which makes more better decentralization. But yeah, it will be a nightmare if we don't get a bridge from StarkX to ZKVM. You know, we've already discussed that with GOG, with
Yeah.
GOG transferring over, and a nightmare that's going to be. One solution I thought they could do is just have like for GOG, for example, like everyone who's got GOG tokens, send their tokens to a contract, an immutable based StarkX contract by a certain date, and then Immutable does the transfer on that date and pays the gas fees, and then redistributes the coins back to the same wallet address on ZKEVM. That could work. I hope I don't think that's a problem. Maybe they'll incur like tax and things like that for it. So I'm not sure. Maybe they're not able to do that.
Yeah, that's going to be huge. That's going to be a big one, right? Because and then also the NFTs, right? Like how they're going to have to transfer bridge all of the NFTs over as well.
Yes. Yep. GOG already said that they were going to
So
do that.
that's a big headache. Yeah. So I'm interested to see how they're going to implement it, but it does make sense for you to send to a specific address and then them take inventory of what's going there and then redistribute to the same addresses on ZK.
Alrighty, I'm back. Did I miss much?
Oh, only the good stuff. But I have to get going. I got to help the kids with school homework and everything. But yeah, appreciate you guys having us and look forward to having more of this when we get more information.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you wanted to ask anyone? It's an hour, and we haven't covered a lot, but I think, as Sue said, thanks for, we really don't have too much more information from the consumer perspective at the moment, and there's no games out yet, which is unfortunate. We all predicted 2, 5, 6, and 8 games would release on live with it, and we're all wrong by at least 2. So, while there's a little bit of an anti-climax for gamers, but yeah, I really thought Metalcore and there'll be one surprise one. But I guess it's the early access was the hint. Like their release, it's probably not fully ready yet to go into the hands of customers, and so therefore it's going to be a slow throughout February and March to get it ready and into a state that's ready for live for everyone.
Yeah, well, of course you'd want them to have sort of like a beta or like what are they calling it? Early access, just to work out them final kinks and make sure everything's smooth, we're running smoothly for everybody for whenever they do go live, or they could go out full. So yeah, I was just wondering if anyone in the audience maybe has any questions, or do they want to come up and ask Rubik, and then we can start bringing it close to the space, and if not, we can start bringing it close to the space now. So
I'll just throw out there while we're waiting to see if anybody raises their hands. We are working with getting together some people that have playtest Guild of Guardians to come on a space with us here soon, hopefully in the next week or so. So be looking for that from us. And we did just release a audio version of an interview with Chris Clay, the game director for Gods Unchained and Guild of Guardians. It was a pretty intensive interview, hour and 20 minutes long. We asked some really tough questions, and he hit them out of the park and did a great job. Rubik did a great job. So it's on Rubik's X. It's on my X. Easy to find. It's on the Gamer Galaxie X, obviously. Feel free to give us a follow and follow our socials as we try to pump out the unrelenting news just coming out on a daily basis from Immutable.
Definitely. So it seems like there's no biters, but just wanted to say to you on February, what was it? I think February 4th at 8 p.m. UTC, we have Medieval Empires coming on a space with us. So we'll be asking them a few questions about their game, about the lore, about what they got going on. Have they any updates or anything in that regard? So on that note, I'll ask you guys to share some leaving thoughts, and we'll close the space. So if you have any leaving thoughts, I'll start with you, Rubik.
Yeah, it's another, as WT says, pure announcement that actually turned into reality. So maybe someone's full of shit, and also like it's finally. It'll be more apparent when the game's alive, and maybe 6 more months when the chain's more mature with all the tools built out for consumers and better docs and that. And so, but it's the start now. We'll see a game come very soon. I think Metalcore in the next 2-3 weeks probably. So yeah, get excited. If you follow us, if you want to, keep up to date with Immutable, we do game. All of us game on other chains. We're not maxis, but we've just decided to focus our energy on Immutable because we're big believers in it being a big player in the space, and just becoming an expert in one area is more valuable to the community that we're building than being a master of nothing and knowing a little bit about a lot. So yeah, follow us all if you want to keep up to date with what's happening on Immutable. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah, I'll try. I'll try to keep mine short, as I just talked a minute ago. But yeah, I don't say pure announcements. Someone else said. I'm just sarcastically saying it. So if you're not a Guild of Guardians fan or you don't know anything about Guild of Guardians, I implore you to go listen to that podcast that we just put out recently. It's from a game developer with 25 years experience, and he did Magic the Gathering, a Lord of the Rings game, and several other big titles. He is probably considered one of the masters in the gaming space, and his acumen and understanding of what it takes to make an actual sticky game is on another level than most I've heard. And if you would enjoy it just from that aspect of alone, because we ask him some tough questions to try and get in his head and see where he comes from. So I would implore you to check that out and give us a follow, give us a try, and we will keep pumping out news for you. And Wandering Gale, thank you so much for hosting this. I appreciate you, brother.
No problem, man. Anytime. I love hosting the spaces and getting everybody together to talk about Immutable, or I host spaces with GameStop as well, so I do all sorts of spaces. But yeah, I'm glad to host this space tonight. I'm thankful for everyone to come, thankful for the speakers, and I'm excited to see in the future of Immutable and what's going on, and seeing more of these games coming on to Immutable. And the rollout of ZKEVM is going to be monumental in my eyes. But yeah, I'll just end the space here, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you very much for coming, and good night or good morning, wherever the hell you are.